I remember a few years back when I used to watch videos on how to make money, how the rich people used to work, how do they work, do they work for time, do they exchange time for money, whatever. And their answer was very different to the typical person who, like a teacher who just literally just sits in a desk all day. If you ask them, oh, like, how do I get money? They just say, oh, you need to get a good job. But when I look online, on YouTube or any videos that I try to find for myself, they have a complete different answer. It's, oh, make your money work for you. You need passive income. You need to start your own money in campaign. You need to find a way to get money to be attracted to you instead of chasing it. But then in school, it's the complete opposite. You need to get a good job. You need to get good grades. You need to tell them why you're capable of working for them. And then somehow, miraculously, you're going to be successful financially and then live a great life. I realized very quickly, people who think that you need to get a good job and, work that way, it's possible. But I realized their answer, how they would answer, they didn't have that much money. Like, they just had like an ordinary job. Whereas the rich people, the people that you actually want to be a part of, they're the ones who would actually say to you, you need to make sure that you find a way for money to be attracted to you. You need to have passive income. They're the ones that made it make sense because they done it. So why am I going to listen to someone who hasn't made the money that I want to, like, if I'm trying to learn off someone, I need to learn off someone who's achieved something. It doesn't make sense for me to learn from someone who hasn't been successful in stocks, but I'm trying to be successful in stocks. I need to learn off someone who has made really good profit on stocks, who's been doing stocks for so long. So why am I going to learn off a teacher who has no business? The teacher's just been employed to work at a school to teach people, to teach kids how to get good grades and send you off to college if they can even be bothered to do that. In the people online who are trying to teach people how to make a lot of money, their answer is completely different, like I just said. So instantly I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna listen to you lot. Forget the teachers for a minute. Let me just hear what you got to say. And it made sense. Like, it actually made sense because every person who has the nice car, who has the house that you want to be in, who doesn't live in a country that they don't want to live in, they don't work for a typical job. And if they do, they're next to the CEO. They have a very high position in their job if they work for a company. You don't have to actually have to own a business to be financially stable. You can work for a company, but only if that company values you. That's what I realized. A school, a retail job, they don't value you. You can work as much as you want. You can work in a warehouse as much as you want, like I did. I worked in a warehouse and that was hell. You can work there and you can do as much work as you can. You're still going to get paid the money that they're going to give you. Whereas someone who's like a salesman or someone who's commission paid, someone who's actually valued, someone who actually values you, if you put the work in, you'll get the reward from it. But you don't get that in a typical hourly paid job. You can work as hard as you want, you're still getting paid the next person next to you. And if you don't do enough, then you're getting sacked. So you got to find a little somewhere in between. Maybe you love that job and you're passionate about it, but that doesn't really make any sense because, like, they're going to get rid of you as soon as they want to get rid of you. So I learned online, and this is how I've interpreted this information. And I've used this information and I've actually made money online. Nothing to sell at the end. There's nothing to sell for you. It's straight up, you get a pen and paper, you write down notes or you don't write down notes. It's up to you. I'm not going to force you. I'm not going to there's going to be no, at the end, phone call, nothing. So if you're trying to attract money, if you want money in your account, you cannot work for it. You cannot go to a job, get paid £11 an hour, do 8 hours, and then, then do it again and again and again and again. Because there's only so much you can make. There's only so much money you can make. You're capped. You can't make any more. You do more work, they're not paying you anymore. If you do less, they're not going to pay you anymore, but you'll probably lose your job eventually. You need to create something that people want. That's the idea that you need to have. You need to create something that people want, or you need to create a solution to a problem that is existing at the moment. Either a problem to a solution or a better quality existing product. This is either one of the two. So for an example would be a car detailing service. There's loads of them, I know, but just hear me out. Let's say in your area, you've got a cheap £5, £10 car wash that everyone's going to. So we've already got someone who's already doing that business. But you're a car detailing company. You're mobile. You're going to actually go to people's houses and present to them the problem that they're facing. You're going to tell them what the problem is going to a £5 car wash. You're going to tell them the problem of going to a £5 car wash, what it does to the car, how it damages the car, how it's not good for value. You're going to explain to them. You're literally selling them your product by telling them what they're doing already is no good for them. The realization and putting your product out there and saying this is the solution. Because now they've realized what their problem is, going to a cheap £5 car wash and it's ruining their car. Now you're going to say, look, this is a new product that I've made. I'm going to service your car for you. It's not going to be damaged. You're going to sell them your idea. You can put them through the post, you can knock on their door, whatever. Products that you use, they're not harmful. You use them with care. You don't damage anything. You've got a guarantee, you've got a warranty. It keeps the car cleaner for longer. You're telling them the benefits of your business, of whatever you're selling, for them to be convinced and be like, yeah, you know what, go on, I'll give it a go. And yeah, you know, you're gonna price it right. You need to price the service correctly, but that's not until later on. We're just talking about pitching the product to the customer. On the other hand, let's say we're going with a better quality product. Let's say there's a product that's already existing out there, but it's not that great. Maybe not many people buy it. Cool. With anything that you actually create, there's going to be competition. Anything you create, there's going to be competition. We live in a world where almost everything is being produced. Almost every problem now has a solution. Almost. Unless we get flying cars, but that ain't coming out anytime soon. Now there's a product out there. You can't copy anyone's product, by the way. But let's say there's a product out there. Let's say homemade gym equipment. Homemade gym equipment. It's flimsy, it's breakable. You bought one from a company and you're thinking, I could do so much better than this. So now you've seen a product that someone's making money from. You've bought it yourself, so now they've just made some more money. And you're thinking, I could do so much better than this. So now you've seen a problem with an existing product, and now you know that you can take advantage of it. Do you have to target someone? Ideally, you should target someone. Let's say for young people, if you want to target to young people, you have to bring the price down. The reason for that is because a lot of young people aren't going to have a lot of money. Not a lot of young people are financially successful. Most people who are financially successful are older in their life. So you have to price it accordingly. Because if you price something too cheap, then you might not make profit. But if you price something too expensive, then no one's going to buy it. So you have to find it in between. You have to know what people are pricing their products and find somewhere in between. If you bring the price down a little bit, then that might incline people to buy your product. But then is there going to be much profit for you? Ideally, you should start quite low. See that you can tempt people to buy it. Let's say you want to do the car business. You're going to pitch it to people. You're going to put letters through the post. You're trying to tempt people to buy the product. But it's a lot. £50 for a car wash. I can go down the road for £5. Why should I go there? Okay, if you explain to them what the reason is, if it's on the piece of paper, or if you're talking to them, you explain to them what the reason is. I don't damage your car, your value goes up, the car stays cleaner for longer, then they might be inclined. Because they might be going to a car wash that's £5 every week. 5 times 4 is 20. If you tell them, oh, my product is £50, but you don't need to get your car washed until the next month, it might be worth it to them and they might see the benefits from it. So now if you pitch it to them in this way, then they'll be inclined to pay for your service. You have to find a reason. You have to see the problem that they have and find a solution. You have to pitch them the solution. This is the solution I've got for you. This is my product. And a lot of young people, they probably don't have cars, and if they do, it's their first car. And they're probably not thinking about, you know, making it squeaky clean because it's their first little runaway. They don't really care about it. So ideally, you should look into pitching it to older people if you want to do a car service. If your product is specific to a certain age group, then most of those people in that age group will look at your product because they know it's specific for them. If you've got a product that's, you know, very broad and very wide for a lot of people, they don't really know if it's for them or not. It makes sense. So you need to have the correct target market for your product. Don't look at a target market and think, like there's only a small group of people who's going to be interested. But those small group of people see that the value in your product. Now you've got to brand it. You got your product, you've got the problem to the solution, and now it's time to make it known to the people, and now it's time to make it, you know, this is my brand, this is my label, this is what I'm called. It has to be something that stands out. Because if it's something that's similar to something else, then people aren't going to remember it. I'm not saying it's got to be this next fancy word or this next fancy font. Because to be honest with you, if the service is shit, it doesn't matter how good the name is. The service is shit, so no one's going to come back. You can come up with some really mediocre name, and if one person really likes the product, then that person will now then refer it to someone else. Only if the service is good. The brand, the name of the brand, the colors of the brand, it helps, but it's not make or break. But it should be good enough. It doesn't take long to come up with like a half decent brand name, and you shouldn't be spending more than a week on it. If you're doing a car service business, it can just be your name, whatever it is. Maybe you could do a fancy font. Can't spend too much time creating a name for yourself, for your company, because that's not what people really care about. They care about the service. Is the service good enough? Because you can have the most fanciest name, but the shit service, no one cares. No one's gonna come again. And then they might leave bad reviews on you, and then you're just no good. Same thing with the home fitness equipment. If you've got a nice brand name, but the quality is shit, if I just use it in a day and it's broken already, then I'm not buying it. I don't care how fancy the packaging is. It has to be practical. It has to do what it says. Now we've got the product, but now we need to sell it to people. We've come to the door. We've advertised it online. So you've come to the door. You're now putting posters through the door. This is my company. I've got my name on it. I've got what I do on it. I've got the problem to your solution. This is now on a leaflet. And I'm putting it through your door. If you do that enough times, then you will eventually get a phone call, or you can put your email onto the leaflet and then someone will email you, I just looked at your business. I believe that if you're trying to do a car detailing business, this is an idea model. It doesn't have to be your model, but I'm using it so you can use it into the business that you have. You can kind of interpret it into the business you have. But I'm just going with the car business one. I'm just going with the car detailing one. If you put those leaflets in a road where there's rusty cars, or there's a road where you can tell that the houses aren't built that properly, they probably don't have £50 to just throw out their car. Whereas if you go somewhere that's quite built up, they have nice cars, they've got nice houses, you can tell that they look after themselves, then they're more inclined to pick your service. They've got a nice car, they want to look after their car. Does it make sense? They're not gonna want to, go to a £5-10 car wash and get their car scratched. They probably already know. They probably love that. They love their cars so much that they already know, I don't want to go get my car scratched up by the local car wash down the road. You're gonna be that savior where you can come to their house. This is my product. I'm gonna look after your car. I'm gonna do a really good job. And then be like, you know what? Thank God this person's come. Same thing with the home workout equipment. If people don't have the money to get a gym membership, let's say that their local gym is too expensive, or the cheapest gym is too far away, they don't want to make that journey, they ain't got enough time, you can now produce this home workout equipment. It's a lot cheaper than a membership. We can send it to your house, and now you've basically got a mini gym in your house with the fraction of a membership. It's the same concept. It's the same thing that you can interpret into the business model that you have in mind. It's the same thing. You have to find a reason why they want to buy your product. You have to sell them the reason on why they should buy your product. It's the same thing. I'm just using these two ideas, these two business models for you to incorporate into your business and see where I'm coming from. So you have to keep advertising it, maybe it be social media. You have to keep selling it why they need the product, and keep knocking on the doors. Let's say you're an in-person business person who's trying to work hands-on, you're not online. Because if you're trying to sell something like home workouts, or trying to sell something that's like a physical product that you need to deliver, so you're actually at home, or you're dealing with maybe a supplier, you have to advertise it online. Whereas if you're a car detailing business, you're not going to go all the way from London to Manchester. You're going to want to be local. So you're going to go send leaflets through people's doors that are local to you. Maybe you might go an hour. But it's the same thing. You can now present online, this is my product, this is my service. I'm trying to, get people to get into my service. I'm trying to sell them the value of my service. Both car detailing and home workouts, home equipment. You can sell it to people. You can sell it to people online, and then you'll get your clients. Now, let's say you got your first client. You need to make sure that you give them the best quality product ever, the best quality gym equipment. You need to make sure, you need to double check, you need to make sure that you've done the box nicely. You need to leave a leaflet in there, you're my first customer. You have to make them feel welcomed. If you're doing the car If you're a car detailing company, you have to make sure you spend a lot of time on it. If they're asking you why you're spending so much time, you tell them the reason why. I'm spending this much time because I'm really looking after your car. I make sure there's no scratches. I'm buffing out all the scratches that you got into your car. I'm giving you the service that I've promised you. Whatever that service is, I've promised you a service and I'm delivering on it. That's why it's taking so long. And they can see the value of your product, why you charge this amount. So now that you've got your first client, you've looked after them, and now they've referred you to someone else, and now you're still advertising it online. Now you've got your first client, maybe a week goes past, now you've got your second client, and that first client is now loyalty because now you've built that relationship with them, you've looked after them. You're my first client, you're my first person who bought my product. You've looked after them. Now oh, you know what, I'm gonna refer you to my friend, he's got a really nice car. Oh, my friend, yeah, he needs to get in shape, yeah, he can't really afford a membership. They're gonna put you on. Your clients will look after you, and before you know, you've got 10 clients. Now you've got 10 clients. If you're doing £50 for a car detailing, and you've got 10 clients, you made £500. Maybe you've done that in a week. Eventually, it took you a week to make that, but you made £500, and it's not capped. It's not like when you work for someone that you're capped at it. You can't make any more. You can make more. These people have now told other people about you, and now you're doing 4, 5, 6, 7 cars a day. And now you're making over £1,000 a week. People are now making really good reviews and really liking your product that you're selling to them online. Oh, bro, you got to buy this product. It's really good. It really helped me. It's exactly what they sold. There's no bullshit with it. And now you've got so many products. Now you're busy as hell, packaging, labeling, all sorts. You have to sell the product to them, and it can't be no bullshit product. It has to be what they want. It has to be the solution to their problem. And now you're making money. You created a solution to their problem and you lived up to your promise, and now you've got loyal customers. And that's it. I hope this template helps you how to build any single business that you have in mind in this year.